quite awesome to do all this, to make sure that we can all meet electronically. Bobby, thank you for making sure that everything is done legally, because we certainly want that to be done. This, as far as I know, is historically the first solid waste board meeting to be done totally electronically. But as Bobby said, for the safety and public well-being and welfare and health, we felt it was necessary. So with that, we will ask, as we proceed, Nancy will be taking care of most of the conversation, but please feel free to ask questions, but please identify yourself, and we'll have roll call vote when appropriate. The first thing is we have approval of the minutes of our last meeting. They were sent to you electronically, and I will entertain a motion to get it on the floor, and then we'll have discussion if there is any. Is there anyone that would make that motion?
This is Bobby.
Ricky Jones, so moved.
Okay, I heard two in there. Was that Bobby?
Ricky, you go ahead, and then I'll second.
Ricky Jones, so moved.
Okay, we have a on the floor. I'm sorry, was that Bobby the second?
Yep, Bobby Hullett seconding.
Okay, we have a motion and a second appropriately. Is there any discussion or correction or addition to those minutes? If not, I'll entertain a vote of all those to be accepted as voted on to be accepted as presented. Ricky Jones.
Aye.
Victor Lay.
Aye.
Bobby Hewlett.
Aye.
Carl Bransford.
Aye.
And I vote yes, so it's unanimous yes. Okay, with the approval of the minutes, then we'll go on to the old business. Nancy, I remember on the last time you were talking a little bit about some changes in the convenience center, but I think everything has gone well. Do you have anything related to old business you'd like to mention at this time?
I'll go ahead and give a couple of updates on some things that I do believe were mentioned at the last meeting. We removed the Williamson Square recycling drop-off, the unmanned drop-off that was in Franklin at the Williamson Square location, and that went very smoothly. The other thing that we had talked about was we went from plastics 1 through 7 being collected at our centers, and now we are back to only accepting plastics 1 and 2. And that's been very successful, and we're getting a much cleaner product now. And that's all I have for old business.
Thank you. Is there anyone that would like to ask Nancy or make any comments related to her report? Okay. If not, we'll go right on to the next new business. Tell us a little bit about the budget process, Nancy, because people may wonder why we're not entertaining the budget at this time.
Certainly, because of all the inability to have face-to-face committee meetings, the mayor elected to have all of the departments go through the budget committee with their budgets. So I will be doing that. Just to give you an idea of what is going on with the budget, it's the same as last year. It's zero operational increase, no capital, no additional people, and no salary increase. The only thing they did allow for is if there were any contractual increases, then we could add that. And I did have 3 of those. The waste oil recycling increased, the waste management contract increased, and the Liberty Tire is going to be increasing in this upcoming fiscal year.
Thank you, Nancy. I'm being told, and I see that it seems that with more people at home now, there's been a lot more cleaning out, and there's been a little bit of stress, I think, on some convenience centers, if not all. Is that the case?
Yes, that is. Because we are considered critical infrastructure, we have been very, very busy. We have not cut any hours. Our people have been working very hard. And thankfully, everyone's following the CDC guidelines and everyone is healthy. But I did do some numbers today. The increase at our centers of brush for this this was the week right before we pulled the open tops, and I'll speak to that in just a second. But it increased over the prior year, 81% brush. It was 29% class 1 waste and 59% increase in construction and demolition waste. So based on those numbers, we elected to pull the open tops temporarily, and anyone who had those types of items, including large metal items, were requested they need to come to the landfill, and they can still continue to get rid of that. But the household waste is what has to be handled for public safety, public health, and we were not able to keep up with all of it. So we just pulled back and we prioritized and said household waste and recycling, that's it for right now.
Thank you, Nancy. I know that was a difficult decision, but it was certainly an economically sound decision, because otherwise you would kept yourself on the roads constantly, just getting things emptied, and they'd be full again before you got back with the other container. I think it bears mentioning that we are very grateful for all the first line responders, all the people that we hear, all the appreciation expressed, and I certainly want to continue expressing that appreciation to everyone who's been through the ringers on this with this virus. And there's so many people out there front line, but I can't say that we certainly don't need to leave out our solid waste workers, because they're on the front line, they're out there, and they certainly are an essential. We have our convenience center workers, our landfill workers, all our office staff. They're keeping our health and protecting our safety and making life a lot better in Williamson County. So I'd like to extend my personal appreciation, as well as that of the board, to all of our solid waste people in and around the community, certainly our Williamson County ones and all those in the cities and the county, because they certainly are essential, and without them, I can't imagine how things might be. So please express our appreciation, Nancy, to your staff and all the people at the landfill and convenience centers and in the whole department that you have.
I certainly will, and I appreciate that. And I must say that I could not do what I do without the team that I have. Which brings me to one other item that I just remembered. We do have our new office manager. She started, she's been with us since August. She's been the office manager since January. She is on this call. She's not hooked up to speak, but she is taking minutes. So if y'all can just welcome Janine Layer.
Hello, Janine. Welcome, and we're so glad to have you aboard. Thank you for taking our minutes. Does anyone else on the board would like to say anything before we move on with our progress report? Any comments to Nancy? Okay. With that, we'll move right on to the annual progress report. This is the 2019 Tennessee Annual Solid Waste Progress Report. Nancy, we'll let you direct us on.
Mr. Chairman, Ms. Judy?
Yes.
This is Bobby. We're having some real issues with the recording. Can you give us
Okay, what do we need to do?
Well, we just need to pause right now. I need to find out what's being recorded. I just got an email from Jamie saying that her recording wasn't working. So she's trying to do it on her phone. I'm waiting on a response from Creed to see if we'll be able to extract that recording and post it on the website like required by the law.
Okay.
Once
so we just
do,
need to
just hang out for a second and let us to see where we're at on it, and I'll be able to give you.
Hey, Bobby.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is Jamie. It's recording on my phone via WebEx.
Okay, so we can
Yes, it
extract
is.
that. Okay.
Yeah, it's being recorded through WebEx, but through my phone. The point of that was that your little opening in the beginning and the roll call may or may not have been recorded on my computer. I don't think so, because the audio wasn't working right. But on my phone, it is working right. So I didn't know if you could, at the end, do your opening and the roll call, or if you need to do it now, or or
I will go ahead and get it back in the record, make sure we do have it in the recording, and then the board can proceed with their business, if that is
perfect.
okay with everyone.
That would be fine. I think now would be an appropriate place before we go on with our progress report, Bobby, if you'll go ahead with that. Thank you, Jamie.
Unless there is any objection from any of the board members, I'd like to reflect that the board has found it necessary to conduct the meeting electronically for the public's health, safety, and welfare due to the COVID-19 virus. At this time, we need to conduct roll call. Judy, if you will just go through each member and ask them whether they can hear, well, first their name and then whether they can hear each other.
Yes, certainly. I'm Judy Hayes, Chairman of the Solid Waste Board. Ricky Jones, can you hear?
Yes, I can hear.
Okay. Victor Lay, can you hear?
I am present and I can hear.
Bobby Hewlett,
I am present and I can hear everyone.
Pearl Branford.
Present, and I can hear everyone.
Very good. As I say, I'm Judy Hayes, and I can hear everyone. Thank you. Bobby?
Go right ahead with your business.
Okay, we're back to Nancy Zion, Solid Waste Chairman, Solid Waste Director, and she is going over the Tennessee Annual Progress Report for 2019. It's a state report, and she's presenting it to our Solid Waste Board. Nancy?
Yes, thank you very much. Once again, and this happened last year as well, I apologize for the small print. That is just the way the program that the state uses. It's just the way it is printed out. I'd like to remind you that in 1991, legislation was passed requiring the establishment of the solid waste regions and submission of a 10-year plan. Updates to the plan were submitted every 5 years. A few years ago, we changed it so that the annual report is an update to the original plan. So when you do vote for approval, you are approving any changes or no changes to the region's solid waste plan. If you will take a look at your plan, just after the cover page, you will see the diversion rate, and that's the part that everyone is always very interested in. That's our main goal. The diversion rate this year is 46%. Last year it was 44%. Public recycling this year was 6%. Last year was 5%. The 2% increase in the diversion rate is primarily due to our use of millings from the highway department to build landfill roads. That's something that they just had as a byproduct or a waste product, and we have found a use for it. We started doing that last year. So that is what accounts for the majority of the increase. I will like to say that this rate is subject to change after state review, and they actually don't complete their review of the report until sometime in August, and then we receive a letter. The next page, the spreadsheet, it's entitled Summary, Ongoing Recycling and Diversion Comparison. This is just something that I started several years ago to let y'all easily be able to see from year to year the differences, and in most cases it's increasing diversion rate each year. The Dollar Tree is a new recycling vendor reporting this year. And I also would like to indicate that the bottom section, the landfill disposal, those numbers are compiled and input by the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation. So does anyone have any questions about the summary?
Nancy, this is Victor. I have a question.
Sure.
When at the top of the page under recycling, where you're listing certain of the retailers like Walmart and Goodwill, Publix, and Kroger in particular, and in tires, are those the cumulative of all the Walmarts in Williamson County, or just one?
That's a really good question, Victor. Yes, it's these are the entire group. If there's more than one store. If there's more than one Walmart, yes. If there's more than one Dollar General, Kroger, et cetera. So yes, it's all of them.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. I just want to make sure that ours were included in that, because everything you've got listed is on the Williamson side of Spring Hill. So.
Also, you might notice there the Waste Management, Spring Hill, those numbers. That's Spring Hill's curbside. Spring Hill's curbside. Also, a few years ago, you started providing the Spring Hill mulch for diversion, those numbers to us, and I very much appreciate that. And they keep going up every year.
Our trees are growing, and folks are cutting them down. So.
Does anyone else have a question about the summary? Okay. Moving on to the next page. This is something I need each of you to take a look at. Please verify your contact information to make sure that I did input it correctly. And if you have any changes, you can let me know. Would y'all like to take just a minute to look at that?
I might say be sure and check your email, because sometimes the emails have gotten messed up.
If you need verification, Victor Lays is correct.
Great, thank you.
How about Ricky's?
It's correct.
Bobby?
It is correct. Thank you.
Pearl?
Correct.
Okay, mine is correct. Okay, Nancy?
Correct. The rest of the report it's just exactly like last year, so I'm not going to go page by page. The recycling report, diversion report, and landfill reports, all of those are summarized on that first summary page that I showed you. I want to remind you once again that approving the annual report, you're approving changes to the regional solid waste plan. The only actual changes to this year's plan is removing the Williamson Square recycling drop-off. So that was the only change. Even though we changed our plastics from 1 through 7 to 1s and 2s, that is not something that is specified in the plan. It's just listed as just plastic in general, so that's not really a change. Does anyone have any questions?
This is Judy, Nancy. Did you have a very much negative feedback when you closed that center at in Franklin?
We had some, of course. There's always, you know, a handful of people who would prefer things to stay the way they are. But for the most part, it just really went off without a hitch, and we didn't have any illegal dumping afterwards or anything. Matter of fact, it was we had a lot of illegal dumping when it was there, and we have not had any since then. So it went very smoothly.
Well, you gave people plenty of notice, I think. Did the city, Pearl, are you aware whether the city experienced any greater increase in their recycling numbers, or Nancy, did you see any increase in the Mile Inn or any other convenience center recycling because of that closure?
You know, we've been
Pearl?
okay, this is Pearl with the city. You know, we've been going through the blue bin transition over the last few, let's say, months or whatever, and that has been moving forward because we're going from the blue bags to the blue bin. So I think that has, we don't have any numbers on that yet, if we lost people or if we added on. But currently, right now, guys, we can't recycle. Our receiving people are not receiving our recycling. I forgot what was going on there. I'm not sure if it's Corona related or something, but we are not able to recycle in the city of Franklin right now. So there could be residents looking for places to put particular recyclables. So you may want to kind of watch for that, because currently in the city of Franklin, we cannot recycle, even though we have our new bins, new shiny bins. We can only, you know, we are putting our recyclable with the regular trash. I'm not
You-
sure if you
you
guys
can
do
only-
that.
Right. You can only do what the market will allow you to do. So that's. Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Yeah.
Are you having any trouble in Spring Hill to your knowledge, Victor?
Actually, no, we are recycling. We have Waste Management that does our recycling, and they were using, and we have a contract actually with the Marshall County MRF, which is, I think, where Franklin is set up to take theirs. And the MRF is shut down right now, and I'm like her. I'm not sure if it's corona related or if it is mechanical related or just what the issues are. But Waste Management is actually taking ours to their Nashville MRF, so we are still recycling.
Yeah.
Thank you
we
very
haven't
much.
created we don't have an alternative at this time.
Thank you. I think it's important that that's brought to our attention. Nancy, do you have any comments there?
Yes, I do. Two comments. The first one was you asked about complaints or how the city of Franklin was doing with us removing that. Glass, they received a lot of complaints about their city of Franklin residents felt like they did not have a convenient place to take their glass recycling, but we have told everyone they can use any of our convenience centers located throughout the county. Ms. Branford, it's actually listed on the City of Franklin Sanitation Department that they are welcome to use our convenience centers during this time where Marshall County is not accepting the recyclables. It's my understanding the reason is Marshall County relies on inmate labor to sort their recyclables since it is single stream, and they are not allowing the inmates out at this point, and I do believe that is COVID-19 related. But I believe this is going to be a temporary situation, and I think it'll go back to curbside, hopefully in the not too distant future.
Okay. Well, thank you. I make sure Eric kind of re-announce that availability of using county points of drop-off is still available. Yeah.
Ms. Branford, if anyone asks, please let them know that we do not take the blue bags. They need to open the blue bags and they need to separate everything.
Okay.
There's a place for tin, there's a place for aluminum, paper, cardboard, etc. So they just need to separate it. We have had a little bit of confusion there.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Great discussion. That's something that is available to the city of Franklin and all municipalities in our whole county. So it's a real plus in being a county resident too. And thank you for that insight, Nancy, and it's good for us to know. Any other comments from any of the other board members? Okay, Nancy, move on, please.
Well, at this point, I need to just turn it over to you for a vote. And once again, reminding everyone that they are approving this as an update to the plan, with the only update being that we removed an unmanned recycling drop-off.
Very good. Other comments about our progress report? Questions?
Mr. Chairperson, with all what we've had with the interruptions, can we have another motion in second just so we can have it in the record?
Okay. We need to have a motion on the acceptance of the Tennessee annual progress report for 2019. We need to put it on the floor for a motion, please.
Ricky Jones, so moved.
Oh, I think I heard Ricky. Would you repeat that, Ricky?
Ricky Jones, so moved.
Okay, we have a motion.
By Pearl Branford.
We have a motion and a second. It's on the floor. Let's have any other discussion, any other questions? Are we ready for a vote? Okay, I'll call your name and please register your vote. Ricky Jones?
Aye.
Victor Lay?
Aye.
Bobby Hewlett?
Aye.
Pearl Branford?
Aye.
Aye, Judy Hayes. I vote aye. We have a unanimous vote. Any other comments from any of the board members? Nancy, good job. And what is your next step? You will submit it as of when?
Just as soon as we get off the conference call, I will electronically submit it, and it will be complete.
That sounds wonderful. That is what we need to have done, so that's great. Anything I can do to help you, let me know.
I appreciate
the next
that.
thing you probably noticed, okay, great. The next thing you probably noticed on your agenda is that we have a resolution for some additional money. And of course, this is not a good time we think about additional money, but just as we told earlier about the number of people that we're having to use our facility and the amount of, well, and then of course you all know the amount of rain that we have. We have a real problem with the leachate, and we have a lot of problem with just disposal of our trash and with our tipping fees. So there is a resolution that we will move to get on the floor. It's appropriating and amending the 2019-2020 solid waste sanitation budget by $550,000. Revenue is to come from the unappropriated solid waste sanitation fund balance and tipping fees. So I'd like a motion to get it on the floor, please.
Ricky Jones, so moved.
Second by Pearl Bransford.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to get it on the floor. Nancy, would you further explain it, please?
Yes, I will. We'll start with the $350,000. That actually is for leachate disposal. As you may remember, we are required to dispose of leachate through a company that treats it and disposes of it. We have the reason I'm requesting the additional funding is strictly driven by rainfall. This fiscal year, we are 8.91 inches above average. And I'm going to throw some math numbers at you right now. 1 inch of rainfall per acre equals over 27,000 gallons of leachate, which filters through approximately 10 acres.
Repeat that, please.
1 inch of rainfall per acre equals over 27,000 gallons, filtering through approximately 10 acres. So multiply 27,000 gallons by 10 acres, and then it's 15.8 cents per gallon to treat and dispose of, which comes to over $380,000. So you can see the direct correlation there. And I'm requesting $350,000 to get us through the end of this fiscal year. So does anyone have any about the leachate portion?
That puts it down to where we can really understand it when we talk about and think how many inches did you say has been recorded?
8.91 over average.
Wow.
Wow. So this is, you can explain to the commission, gentlemen, this is why we need this money. Okay. All right, any questions related to that, the leachate? Okay, the next?
All right, the next is some additional funding for waste management. You may know that our Class 1 waste, that's the household waste, we transfer out to a waste management facility in Camden, and they do charge for that service. Our Class 1 commercial intake has increased 25% over last year. There is additional funding that this additional funding is actually offset by revenue, and that's why the 350 and the 200 are listed coming from two separate items. The 350 is coming from fund balance, and the 200,000 is coming from additional revenue.
Okay, very good. Any questions? Any money not spent will go back to the unappropriated fund balance. So it's not like we're using new money and going to use it no matter what and lose the money. It's very well documented.
That's correct.
Any questions from anyone? I think it's pretty explanatory that we've had a lot of rain and we've had a lot of, with our growth and the increase and the tipping fees are very necessary, but we're not bearing class 1 in our landfill, so that would be an additional expense too. Do we have any other comments or questions? Are we ready for a vote? Okay. Ricky Jones?
Aye.
Victor Lay?
Aye.
Bobby Hewlett?
Aye.
Pearl Branford?
Aye.
Judy Hayes? Aye. So that's proves unanimously. Is there any other old business, Nancy? Or any other business?
Not unless anyone has any questions for me.
Okay. Let's go around
Yes,
and see.
Nancy, this is Ricky Jones. Has there been any positives from the COVID, such as fuel cost or anything like that?
That's really a good question. Well, you know what's going on with the oil right now, so what we're paying for diesel is down considerably. But yes, our trucks are not on the roads as much right now, since we're only hauling recycling and the compactors. So yes, there's definitely a cost savings there. We do have some attendants that are working extra hours though to kind of double up. So some of the busier centers will have an extra pair of hands. So that's an increased cost. But yes, that I would consider that to be an advantage.
Thank you,
Ricky. Thank you, Ricky. That was a very good question. Bobby, do you have any questions or comments?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Victor, do you have anything?
I do not. Thank you.
Pearl, do you have anything?
No. Very good discussion.
Okay. Well, I think this has gone well, and I thank you so much. And Nancy, thank you for the good job you and your staff are doing. I repeat, Janine for taking the minutes, and Jamie for setting all this up. I think our solid waste department is in very good hands. And once again, I extend my appreciation to all of you for making this possible. Bobby, thank you for coming and keeping us all straight. And let's hope that as well as this worked, let's hope that we'll all be together before long, staying safe and be safe, take care of yourself, and let's hope we don't have any more outbreaks. Thank you very, very much. And is there anything else anyone would like to add to this before I adjourn? With that, the meeting is adjourned with my appreciation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.